Hi there, and welcome to another TidyHQ webinar. Today we'll be talking about organisation settings. My name is Liam Bednarski. I'm the Customer Success Manager in TidyHQ. If you have any questions during the webinar, can you please ask them by left-clicking the word chat at the bottom of your screen and typing in your question before hitting enter. Today we're going to cover organisation settings in TidyHQ, admins and roles, payment settings, finance settings, date, time and currency, custom fields, contact ID, and what the activity feed is within TidyHQ. So I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen and have a guided tour of TidyHQ. So what we're going to do first is click on Organisation Settings in the bottom left-hand corner. This is important when setting up TidyHQ for the first time, or if your organisation is starting to utilise TidyHQ more. So I'm going to click on Organisation Settings in the bottom left-hand corner. So what we have on the screen here is our organisation details. That's the default page that it takes us to. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk through the different options here. So the top option here is the TidyHQ domain. We address this in our web page series as well, but what this does is it gives you your domain name in the address bar up here. So the domain is demo.tidyhq.com. Whatever word you put in there will appear before .tidyhq.com. You can also register your custom domain name through the app section here. We have an app for that, which we can take you through separately if you do have an existing website and website name. Entering your organisation name, so this will give you the name of the TidyHQ database, organisation email. Now this is what you'll be publicly contacted through on your website if you have that option enabled. If you don't wish to enter an email address, you can leave this blank, and the contact us send message page on our TidyHQ websites will automatically send them through to your communicate section, which is fantastic through the inbox there. Your mailing address will appear on invoices and membership reports, and also on the contact us page on your website if you choose to. Same with contact number there. Including your web page and your social media accounts also allows that to display on the website as well. So yeah, this is just really getting started with TidyHQ. It's important to populate this information. We've just gone over why there. Now, logos and colors is the next section we're going to look at. So in the top left-hand corner, you can see the logo here. Now, you can add logos of almost 300 by 300 pixels. We recommend using a tool like Canva to help you get the size right. So the image will appear, as I said, on the top left-hand corner of your club when you log in, also on your public web page, which I've just got an example of here. Your logo will appear there as well. So your color scheme will appear on your website at the top and bottom of the page, so you can set that. This was covered more in the web pages webinar, so please check that out. Moving on to the Scratchpad. Scratchpad allows you to keep a log of information that doesn't really have a place anywhere else. So for example, here we've got a security code for the social rooms, or the Wi-Fi password for the social rooms of your organization. Just if people are going to transition in and out of the organization and on the committee, stuff that you need to keep a central record of. So that was our first section there on organisation details. What we're going to do now is we're going to move on to admins and tasks in TidyHQ. So admins and tasks can be accessed by organisation settings down the bottom here, or sorry, we can access it via admins and roles. So it's really the heartbeat of TidyHQ where you really want to get started. So what this page allows you to do is invite other administrators. So you might be the first one on your committee to use TidyHQ. It's really important to invite other people here, even if they're not active on TidyHQ, because TidyHQ allows you to contact them, send them reminders, send them notes of meetings, etc., even if you're the only one using it. So you can really share it with the rest of your committee. So how you can invite an admin is in the top right-hand corner here, the blue plus admin invite button. And you type their email address in and decide what level of access they're going to give. So you can give full access, which will tick every box, or you can give access to specific sections. There's quite a bit of information here about what specific access gives and what restricted access gives. So please read through that in your own time. Once you have invited someone, you can edit their permissions. So you can modify if you want to start restricting their access after a particular period in time. Restricting access is just really helpful to keep members of your team focused when they log into TidyHQ. They're not familiar with the platform or they're new to it. It just gives them a specific area to focus on, a task for their particular role. So once you've invited other admins, they will get sent an email invitation to join TidyHQ. And once they accept that, you'll see that they've, so you can see here, there's an invitation pending. Once they have accepted, that will be removed and they'll have a last login date on the screen here. Now, once you add your admins in, you can actually assign them to roles within your organization, which is really exciting. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to create a role description for a particular role. In this example on the screen here, we've got a president. So it's got their objectives, responsibilities, their relationships, and their accountability. So it gives a really clear position description for what that role is when someone comes into the organization. So what you can do here is you can create new roles up in the top right-hand corner. And it allows you to give a role name, the responsibilities. You can assign it to the admin here. And you can also set it up to allow for messaging. So if you don't want it to be their personal email address, you can set it up to say president@demo, which is the name of your TidyHQ account, and it gives them a mail account within TidyHQ. So it's not going directly to their personal emails. That's actually going to both theirs and the organization's email there. So you can assign people to roles. So you can see here there's an assign an admin button. And if for a role that's already been created, and then I can assign, for example, myself to this role and click save. Now there's also the option to print roles, which opens up a PDF and you can clearly see the roles of each thing. So they might be handy for an AGM, or if you need to print off and hand it to someone that might not be using TidyHQ actively, or save it for your own records if you do change the roles over time. So that's a quick overview of admins and roles within TidyHQ. As I said, the powerful thing about this is other modules such as tasks, meetings, and events, and more can allow you to assign tasks for people to do within the platform itself and set them reminders. Those will be covered in other webinars, but it's really important to get this set up from the start. The next section we want to go over here is payment settings in TidyHQ. So if we click on organization settings on the left-hand side menu, and then we click on payment settings, so take us to our payment settings screen. So the first screen here, payment settings, this allows you to set reminders for when payments come through. So when you receive money from your members online, one person or more in your organization can receive notifications. You may want it to be your treasurer, for example. So you can enter their contact in here. I've assigned myself here and save there. The next page is the Stripe payment screen. So this allows you to activate your database for payment. So you can see here, this has already been activated here. Now, when you click deactivate or activate, it takes you to Stripe payments. We'll have a separate video on how to set up through Stripe, but it's very important to activate when setting up TidyHQ. This will allow you to utilize memberships, events, and the shop to their maximum capability and put them on your website. Now, regardless if you're using transactions online or $0 transactions, it's really important to get this set up. So even if you're not transacting money through, please still set up Stripe. Next, we're going to move on to setting up date, time, currency in TidyHQ. So if we click on Add Organization Settings, and then we go to date, time, and currency. So this allows you to set a date and time format in your TidyHQ account, which is up to you. That's completely optional what you choose to select. Currency, many of our clients are based in Australia, but we do have clients based elsewhere. So you can select different currencies there, depending on what country you're located in. Financial calendar. So a lot of organizations will run on a calendar year or a financial year. For example, that starts in July in Australia. You choose a financial year, or you can do a calendar year in January. And then your time zone. So we have quite a lot of flexible time zones. You have Melbourne and Sydney, there's options, Hobart, so each capital city is there in Australia. You can select the multi-time zones as well. So there's plenty of options there. So you just want to set that up properly so the time's reflecting accurately when anyone's on your website or in doing any transactions, that these items are correctly reflected for your area. Moving on next, so we just wanted to articulate what the activity feed is in TidyHQ. So if we click Organization Settings and then Activity Feed. So this is a transaction, this is an audit log of what you have done during TidyHQ in your time using the platform. So if you are adding a lot of different admins and you're not sure who's done something in the past, you want to review it, you can actually do it from this screen. So you can see I've been busy today setting up a few things for the demo. You can select different dates to look at something specific, and you can export that log of actions to a CSV. So if you do have a lot of admins coming through using the platform, or you are an organization using it for the first time, and you're not too sure what someone's done, you can actually come and check the activity feed here to look at what someone's done, or perhaps retrace your steps if you're not sure what you did do when you hit the save button somewhere. Next, we want to go over organization settings and go to the finance settings in TidyHQ. So again, it's something we want to set up when we first get started in TidyHQ is the finance settings. I'm just going to click on organization settings and finance settings. So here we have 3 different headings: taxes, invoices, expenses, and deposits and categories. So in Australia, the rate of GST is 10%. So as you can see, it's configured here as GST and 10%. Now this is fully customizable. You can edit how it appears if you are operating in a different region, and then hitting the save button there. Invoices, expenses, and deposits. So this is information that can appear throughout your database. So we've got organization number, which is your ABN in Australia, which is most registered businesses. You can put another number there if it does apply. We've got the prefix that will appear before any transaction. So I've put Bondi C because we're the Bondi Club in this example. And you can choose what number your receipts start from here. So I've got a next number from 1,000. The footer information and payment information, that's information that will appear through your transactions. So on your website, for example, footer information will appear at the bottom of a receipt, and the payment information will appear if you do need to have people pay you directly. So if you are collecting invoices separately to the system, if you're not transacting online and you wish to have people pay you directly via bank deposit, you need to put your payment information here, and it'll appear on the relevant screens when people are completing their transactions. And you can hit save at the bottom there. So the next thing is now I'm going to press categories. So categories is like a ledger. So basically it's book accounting, so in and outs. The finance section is powered by this. So what it allows you to do is it allows you to create categories for the money is coming in and out when you manage your finance section. So it's a good idea to configure this when you're getting started, to think about what expenses and income you do have throughout the year and creating a field for those. So to create a new category, click on the top right-hand corner, give it a name and decide whether it's got tax included on top or no tax applies at all to that category. Now, we do recommend you do this when you first get started in TidyHQ. If over time you do have to merge 2 categories because they're the same, you can actually click the merge button and decide which category you can merge that data with. So if you do create too many, you can actually tie them together over time, but it's something important to do before you start transacting in TidyHQ. Next, we're going to go over organization settings and contacts. So if I click on organization settings down the bottom here, and I navigate to the contacts page. So here we have the ID number settings. So you can set TidyHQ optionally to generate ID numbers for your contacts. You can give them a prefix, for example, mem, which would have member before there, and you can set what the next contact number is. So if you are importing data and you already have a collection of ID numbers in TidyHQ, you can set it to start from a particular number. So my membership ID number would be MEM 10084 if I was the next member to register. You can turn this off as well. As I said, it is optional to have this configuration on. You may not need to assign membership ID numbers specifically to your members, but it's something handy to do at the start if you are going to use it. So you have that consistency from the get-go. Our next topic is going to be custom fields. So custom fields are available through organization settings and then custom fields in the left-hand panel here. So custom fields can be added to your membership forms. So the data that's collected when people register for an event or a membership or make a purchase through the shop. So what we want to do is collect additional information that's not part of the standard fields in TidyHQ. Now, this is something you can do through the membership module as you're creating them, but if you know from previous use that you need to have things built in from the start that aren't in the system, you can add them through the custom field section here. In the top right-hand corner, you can click New Custom Field. You can select the title of it. If there's any helper text, so people know what actually to fill out. So if you, for example, they don't understand what the field is, the helper text will give them a little pop-up box on the side that will give them a clear indication of what the member needs to put in. And you can select the different types of custom fields. Now, I'm not going to cover that in depth here. That'll be done in a separate video, but you can choose the different types there and what the visibility is going to be, whether that's for the admin team only, public profiles, or if it's a read-only field, so they can just view the data because they've already entered it before. That concludes our webinar today on organizational settings. I hope you feel it helpful getting set up with Tidy for the first time or as a new committee member.